What's good, YouTube? It's your boy JusticeXFalls. We're back at it again with another video. Today we're looking at Granblue Fantasy Relink. This is the JRPG in the Granblue series. So if you know about Granblue, it has like an anime, I believe. It has I think it is an anime, but it has a couple fighting games. Granblue Versus just came out, and it has some RPGs. So we're going to be checking out this RPG. It piqued my interest. I already played the fighting game. They have like a free version of it, so I wanted to check out, you know, the RPGs, check out some reviews. So without further ado, let's get to the video. Hold on, let me rewind it. Boom.
Granblue Fantasy Versus may have introduced an entirely new fanbase to Gran's grand adventure in 2020, but any fan of the mobile RPGs before it are sure to come into Granblue Fantasy Relink with very different expectations. Finally making the jump from phones to PC and PlayStation, the series has embraced exhilarating real-time action that feels right at home alongside other ambitious story-driven games like Final Fantasy XVI or Star Ocean: The Divine Force. But its clear mobile roots are a double-edged sword. The storytelling may be tighter and less bloated than its contemporaries, but other parts just don't feel quite up to snuff for a game of this scale. Still, Granblue Fantasy Relink's fun combat and entertaining characters stay entertaining for dozens of hours, even well after the credits have rolled.
Well, they gonna get us a hard 7. They're gonna get us a hard 7. What's it looking like?
Granblue Fantasy Relink's story follows a skyfaring crew on their search for a mysterious island called Estalucia that can make wishes come true. You play as a mostly silent protagonist, your choice between Gran and Jita, along with a young girl named Lyria, whose incredible summoning powers play a key part later in the story. The central cast has a nice mix of personalities too. Io's anxious demeanor balances out Rackham's more steadfast confidence, and that well-rounded party creates plenty of interesting interactions between them.
You heard Lyria's stomach. Let's go find that town.
Unlike recent, much longer RPGs such as Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, Relink's story is structured much more like a mobile game, which largely works in its favor. It takes about 15 to 20 hours to finish its 10 chapters, which are concise and don't drag their feet with more unnecessary dialogue than they have to. You have your...
I love 15 to 20 hour RPGs. I feel like the 40 to 60 to 80, 100 hour ones, they drag on. They drag on and on and on and on. Give me a concise and well fleshed out 15 to 20 hours rather than a bloated 40 to 80 hours, please.
Objective for the chapter: go to a new location to complete it, defeat a boss, and then move on to the next one. It's a refreshing change of pace to play an RPG that just gets straight into the action, always feeling like you're making meaningful story progress.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Relink isn't short on cinematic moments either. Right from the beginning, your crew is ambushed by monsters and you're forced to fight them off as they try to board you. Some of the more amazing moments are even on par with Final Fantasy XVI's biggest confrontations. For example, one chapter has you controlling Bahamut similar to those thrilling icon battles, while another has you climbing a stone giant like you're playing Shadow the Colossus.
That's fine. How much this game cost? Is it 60 or 70?
While the Granblue Fantasy series has many great characters, only a select few allies have actual roles in this story. That doesn't stop others from showing up, however, as many more can be summoned using tickets you earn as rewards for finishing side activities. This allows the main cast personalities to shine even among a much larger roster. Every character looks great both in and out of combat too. The watercolor drawings and clean lines ooze with charm in their menu portraits, and 3D models are beautifully rendered with faces that teem with emotion and life.
We sort of ran into a minor hiccup,
good price for
but
this
it's safe
game.
in our hands now.
You can also view each character's fate episodes, which are special scenes that provide lore and background on them, and even increase that person's stats when you finish watching. This is where Relink's mobile roots are at its weakest. Of the 10 or so fate episodes each character has, only maybe 2 or 3 have a playable component. The vast majority are just cutscenes that simply describe what's going on in a comparatively boring way.
I guess after you've spent as much time together as we have, you pretty much share a brain.
Even so, one of Relink's greatest strengths is the mechanical diversity of its roster. Each character has a unique playstyle and special skills in a way that's reminiscent of Genshin Impact. Those who prefer a straightforward sword fighter will be more than satisfied playing as Gran and Jita, hacking and slashing in a way that will surely be familiar for any fan of action RPGs like this. But if you're feeling experimental, Eugen's ranged attacks utilize a mix of bombs and even some light third-person lock-on and shooting mechanics. There are so many characters to try out, you're bound to find a few favorites.
Pick the wrong guy. try to have a shooting contest with.
Relink's real-time action combat
like
has a
that.
few features that help it stand out from similar games. The character you're controlling has an arts level, which determines how effective your special skills are. The more normal attacks you dish out, and longer you wait until you unleash a skill, the more powerful the skill will be. That creates an interesting risk and reward dynamic that's constantly at play. The standout combat feature, however, are Skybound arts, which are powerful ultimate attacks unique to each character. Much like special attacks, Relink's combat system also encourages you to wait before firing off Skybound arts. You're welcome to unleash yours right when your meter hits 100%, but if your entire party does so one after another, they'll activate what's called Full Burst, which is a group attack that deals enormous damage to your opponents, similar to something like Persona's all-out attacks.
Right. I was about to say Persona has something like that.
Granblue Fantasy Relink occasionally switches up the
All-out
form of
attacks,
its
like you
real-time action too, which prevents the combat from ever getting stale. For example, when your ship gets raided, you can use the guns on the side of it to pick off enemies before they have the chance to land. In another part, you'll control a mech to fight against other robots, sort of like you're playing an Armored Core game. While these moments may be short-lived, they're still exciting and incredibly fun.
Cypher's officially in the shop.
Nice work. Thanks, Rackham.
During the story and into the post-game, you'll take on tasks simply called quests. These are sort of Monster Hunter-like missions where you gather your team to complete objectives, such as defeating a boss, eliminating waves of enemies, or protecting objects. Thankfully, you can tackle all of these in single-player mode with your NPC companions. However, this is also where Relink's multiplayer shines the most. There are a plethora of matchmaking options that let you tailor your online sessions, whether you want to join up with a random group of strangers or search for specific people. You can also invite your own friends to join your lobby once you go online, so the process for getting a crew together is relatively smooth.
Now or never!
Unfortunately, the biggest issue with Relink's multiplayer is that while PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 players can play with each other, there's no crossplay between PlayStation and PC. This really limits the matchmaking potential and divides the user base of a game that already runs the risk of being fairly niche. The good news is that there aren't any connection or frame rate issues, so the online experience has been solid otherwise.
This looks cool.
Completing
I think I'm
quests
gonna cop
rewards you with
this.
materials needed to forge and upgrade weapons, as well as improve sigils. Sigils are equipable orbs attached to your weapon that add a variety of different effects, such as decreasing skill cooldowns when hitting foes, or increasing your base attack stat. There are a lot of cool effects to play around with and tailor your specific playstyle toward. Some of the hardest post-game bosses and quests aren't for the faint of heart, so you'll need proper sigil planning in order to beat them. They offer ample challenges for you and your friends to take on after finishing the story, and the preparation makes the victory that much sweeter as you finally overcome those monsters.
Because I'm the type of player, I just mow through the game on some onga bonga shit, just up all my offensive stats. And then when it comes time to strategize towards the end of the game, that's when I strategize. That's just how I play really any game.
Given Granblue Fantasy's mobile roots, Relink does also have some light gacha mechanics, but thankfully no microtransactions. You can trade in unwanted sigils or treasure for vouchers, which can then be redeemed to transmute new sigils, which are seemingly random in what effect they give you. That's a little obnoxious, but the system is relatively inoffensive as far as gacha mechanics go. Cygames also confirmed that it has no plans to implement any microtransaction trades in the future, so there's no way to use real money to get a leg up in-game. This keeps the playing field equal amongst players and encourages you to spend more time playing instead of paying. Granblue Fantasy Relink bucks the RPG genre's usual trend of long and slow-paced story, but the relative brevity of its campaign doesn't compromise on the quality of its storytelling. Its mobile game origins don't always translate over well, feeling a little thin in some aspects, but questing with friends in multiplayer is very exciting, even if the lack of crossplay is disappointing. However, Relink's fun action combat and interesting cast of characters are compelling enough to keep you playing long after you beat the final boss. For more recent RPGs, check out our reviews of Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Persona 3 Reload, and for everything else, stick with IGN.
I want to play this game, and I want to play Infinite Wealth. But I didn't even start none of the Yakuza games, and it's like a direct sequel or some shit. So yeah, I need to get on that Yakuza. I might start playing it while I'm at work and shit.
Granblue Fantasy versus
I could probably mow through them while I'm at work. Like if I get some free time at work, just put it in a couple hours or put in 30 minutes or whatever I can. But this looks dope. I don't know why people are shitting on this game. People are like, yo, this game is trash. This game looks trash. Probably because it used to be a mobile game. But if you look at the franchise and how it's transitioned to console, you wouldn't even know. Most people wouldn't even know that it was a mobile game beforehand. Like this looks pretty well done. Like no, and then you said no microtransactions. It's only 15 to 20 hours. For me, that piqued my interest right there, the 15 to 20 hour stories. That means the story is very concise. There's no fluff. There's no bloat, and you just go along. Like the most, even the most iconic RPG games, like what people complain about the most is the bloat, like towards the end game. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this game, and it's only $60. Yeah, we definitely gonna be on this. I might not stream it. I might play it on my own. But if any game that I do play on my own, you will see me post clips of it. So yeah, so y'all let me know what y'all think though. Is this game worth copping? Do you guys have it? It is February 1st out of the making of this video. So some of you've already probably logged in 10, 15 hours. So y'all let me know. All right. So y'all already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.